Done in class. Today we're only going to focus on the even questions. So this worksheet is only the evens. If you look online at the Google site, I have the full answer key, but during class we only did the evens. So we're only going to do the evens again for this video. If you need to check your answers or you need more practice and you did the odds, the answer key will be on the Google site. So let's focus on just the evens. So for 2 and 4, it says write the dimensions. So remember, dimensions are rows by columns. Rows go left to right, columns go up and down. The best way to remember it is like RC Cola, rows, columns. So there are 3 rows and 2 vertical columns. So this is a 3 by 2. Number 4, again, 1, 2, 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So this is a 3 by 4. All right, number 6. Now, number 6 is multiplication, and we have done multiplication by hand, but remember, it's a pain, like it's a lot. So I'm going to be doing all of these multiplication ones in my calculator. So the way that we write, we go to second matrix, which is the x to the negative 1. I'm going to edit my first one. So this is a 3 by 1. Notice how it matches. You want to make sure that your matrix matches. Oh, I wrote 11. All right, then I'm going to go into matrix again, and now I'm going to edit the second one. And this one is a 1 by 2. So 2 and negative 2. Okay, now I'm going to go into matrix. I'm going to press A times matrix B, and this is my answer. So I'm going to write my matrix answer here, negative 8, 4, and 2, 8, negative 4, negative 2. And that's all. I just typed it into my calculator and it did it for me. All right, let's try the next one. Sorry if you can hear that construction. They are doing a lot of construction outside of my window, and it's very loud all the time. So again, I'm just typing in my answers. Matrices do take a little while because they just take time to type in your calculator. That's really what it is. As far as the math of a matrix isn't that difficult. It's just the calculator can be a pain. So I'm going to exit out of this. Again, I go into matrix. And that is my answer for the second one. I feel like this tutorial might not be the most, oops, that should be negative 12. I feel like this isn't going to be, I don't know what kind of negative, I'm just distracted. I feel like this tutorial is not going to be the most interesting because it's really just calculator work. So let's try number 10. So as we multiply, honestly, it's just calculator stuff. So being able to recognize how many, what the right matrix dimensions are. If you type in the wrong dimensions, you want to be careful. You're going to get the wrong answer. So we want to make sure that we're typing in the correct dimensions. If you're not writing the correct dimensions, then it's not going to work. Some of you asked in class, do I need to type the multiplication symbol? You don't. You can just put it this way. Or if you wanted to insert the multiplication symbol, you can. You get the same answer either way. So for this one, we get negative 8, 6, and 10, 0, negative 5, and negative 7. Again, the multiplication is a pain. It is pretty slow and tedious. So I recommend doing any kind of multiplication matrices in the calculator just because they are time consuming when you do them by hand. And I want you to save as much time as you can on the ACT. So typing them into your calculator is tedious. So if you're typing in a matrix and it's a very easy addition or subtraction matrix, don't waste your time on that. I would only really type into the matrix when you are multiplying, because when you're not multiplying, it actually is a lot easier to just do it by hand. Now, the multiplication is not impossible by hand. We did it in class. It's just time consuming. So an example like number 14, I'm not going to waste my time typing this into my calculator. I'm just going to multiply everything by -9. So Negative 9 times 7 is negative 63. Negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. Negative 9 times negative 3 is positive 27. Then I'll just do it again. Negative 9 times 9, negative 81. Negative 9 times negative 5 is positive 45. And negative 9 times 6 is negative 54. So a lot faster than typing that into the calculator. So I will show you real quick how to type that in, because, you know, if you really just don't want to type in by hand, you can use the calculator. So, you know, I'm going to show you just on this one because the pattern honestly is the same. Okay, so when I quit out of that, all I would do is press negative 9, and then I would press my matrix, and then it would do it for me. So it's completely up to you. If you're slower at multiplication, it might be faster just to do it in your calculator. But honestly, the calculator is great, but I would only really use it for multiplication, like multiplying matrices. So 3 times 12 is 36. 3 times 17 is 51. 3 times negative 16 is negative 48. And 3 times 9 is 27. It's basically just one big distributive property. All right, let's hop to the back. Again, we're only doing odds. It says add or subtract each matrix. So we're only doing addition and subtraction, right? Not possible if not possible. So when you're adding, the dimensions have to be the same. So looking at this, this is a 2 by 1 and a 2 by 1. So I know that it is possible to solve. So I'm just going to do what is 2 plus negative 3, and that is negative 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. And that's all. A lot faster than typing that into your calculator. Now, looking at this one, this is a 2 by 1, and this is a 1 by 2. These dimensions don't match, so number 20 is not possible. Number 22, those dimensions do match. So I have 3 minus 4 for negative 1, negative 4 minus 7 for negative 11. 24, again, this is a 2 by 2, and this is a 1 by 2. Dimensions do not match, so this is not possible. Okay, continuing on, number 26. Looks a little complicated, but again, nothing that you can't handle. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this negative, and I'm going to change all of these signs and change that to plus. This will just be a little bit easier. So I have 1 plus 3 plus 2, which is 6. 2 plus 4 plus 5, so 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 5 is 11. 0 minus 2 plus 3 is 1. Negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. Plus 9 is 3. Number 28, I need to do some scalar multiplication here. So let's go ahead and just do this in our calculator. Okay. You know, it's a little bit time consuming. I just want to give you options, and I want you to feel comfortable doing all of these problems any way that you want. So I'm going to type it in because I want to make sure that we all kind of know how to do this. All right, let's do matrix B. I'm making this one matrix B. So again, 2 by 2, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, and negative 1. So now I'm going to do 3 times matrix A plus 4 times matrix B. You can also type it this way. So I can also take out the multiplication symbols, and I would get the exact same answer. Or I could distribute the 3, distribute the 4, and then add. But again, for the sake of this video, I want to make sure that we know all possible solution paths. There is no right or wrong way to do these problems. It's just whatever you're faster at. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Let's do this one by hand. So we did this one in the calculator. We'll do this one by hand. So I'm going to distribute first. I'm going to get 6, negative 18, and 0, plus 10, 35, and negative 40. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative 3 to make this positive. So negative times negative, that's a positive 3, a negative 12, and a negative 36. Adding across, 6 plus 10 plus 3 is 19. Negative 18 plus 35 minus 12 is 5. 0 minus 40 minus 36 is negative 76. So again, this one we did in the calculator, this one we did by hand, level of difficulty, about the same. Now number 32, I think is the trickiest. You do have to build a system of equations. So I'm gonna set up the two equations. I have 2x minus 8y equals 12, x minus y equals 1. I'm going to use a system of equation to do this. So let's cancel out, okay, let's just make the x go away. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -2. And I might run out of paper, so let me go ahead and just get a scratch piece of paper real quick. There we go. All right. That way we don't run out of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite all of this. Here we go. We'll just do it that way. So I'm going to get 2x minus 8y equals 12, negative 2x plus 2y equals -2. Using cancellation or elimination, the x's go away. I get negative 6y equals 10. So y is -10 over 6. To solve for x, I'm going to plug into this original problem here. So I'm going to use x minus y equals 1. So x minus -10 over 6 equals 1. So x plus 10 over 6 equals 1. When I subtract 10 over 6 from both sides, sorry, that kind of looks like a percentage, I get x equal to -2/3. Okay. You can reduce this if you wanted to -5 over 3, completely up to you. So that should be a parenthesis. So my answer is -2/3 and -5/3. Remember, systems of equations are not difficult, or these aren't systems, I'm sorry, well this one was, but systems aren't that hard, and matrices kind of use systems every now and then, like you saw in number 32, so I'll write the final answer here. But mathematically, matrices you can use in your calculator for, you can do scalar multiplication in them. I would just do what you are fastest at. So if you don't like to do scalar multiplication and then add everything, just do it in your calculator. There is no harm in that, but just make sure when you are adding and subtracting, let me go back up here. When you're adding and subtracting, remember the dimensions have to be exactly the same to be added. When we're multiplying, we didn't really talk about this. We did in the notes. This is a 3/2 and this is a 2/2. Whenever you're doing scalar multiplication, the number of columns of the first has to match the number of rows in the second. And then your new matrix will then be a 3/2 or whatever that is. So we have 3 rows, 2 columns. So just be mindful if this does not match when you're multiplying, the multiplication process is not possible. So it is a possibility that multiplication is not an option.